We have a special moment now. I don't know, the kids can also stay if they want. Om Kyanati Mirandasya Kinanjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhukevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So as announced, we will have 1 hour to share amongst each other our realizations that we had personally in the month of Kartik. Anyone remembers the theme of this year's Kartik? What was the meditation this year? Where is the mic? Where is the mic? Maybe somebody could remind us all what was the slogan for this Kartik?
Loving exchanges.
Okay. It was there, it was part of it. Dorothea?
Building our relationship with Krishna.
Building our relationship with Krishna. It's close. Yes, Christian?
Deepening our relationship with Krishna.
Oh, wonderful. Did you hear? So the slogan was, or the meditation of this year was deepening our personal relationship with Krishna and his devotees. And we can see that here also, that it's mentioned that, in order to establish our relationship with Krishna, we definitely have to also deepening our relationship with the devotees. Now, in order to start the sharing, I think it's always good to get back to our core of our philosophy, which is Sri Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Supreme Lord. And as we know, Krishna, he spoke 4 verses to the Sun God, the 4 original verses of the Bhagavad Gita. And in the first verse, it is mentioned that if we become aware of the fact that the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the source of all material and spiritual worlds, then automatically we will start to engage in devotional service, right? We all remember that. Those who are smart, after hearing that the Lord is the source of everything, then we start to engage in his devotional service. So the month of Damodar is the month specifically dedicated to devotional service. And what is so interesting about these 4 verses is that when Krishna says, you will definitely engage in devotional service, then in the second verse, which we will recite together because most of you will know this verse, in the second verse, Krishna mentions what is devotional service. So we can chant together. Mat chitta mat gata prana bodhayanta parasparam kattayantas chamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. Such a beautiful verse. It says that Prabhupada translates it also very beautiful. And mat chitta means literally you become conscious of me. But Prabhupada translates it that the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Is that a beautiful translation? The thoughts of my pure devotees, they dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentaries on this verse, he says that for the devotees, Krishna is his or her life and soul. Krishna is our life and soul. And to hear about him is our nourishment, is our foodstuffs. So Krishna is our Lord, our purpose in life. He's our everything. And to hear about him is our nourishment. And here it's very clearly said, Bodhayanta Parashparam. Bodhayanta means to share. Parashparam, with all around us. So this is the prime purpose of why Srila Prabhupada founded so many temples all over the world. He says, I created these temples in order to create an atmosphere that is conducive for hearing and chanting. So if Krishna says that you will start engaging in devotional service, and then he mentioned what is devotional service, then what we are doing now, right here, talking about Krishna and sharing our realizations with each other, that is actually pure devotional service. If you are wondering, like, oh my Lord, one day I want to engage in pure devotional service. This is pure devotional service. To share our realizations with other devotees and to hear from the other devotees. And I would like to read a little portion of Prabhupada's purport, just to set the scene. So the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, their lives are fully devoted to my service, and these devotees derive great satisfaction, ramanticha, and tushanticha. Tushanticha means great satisfaction, ramanticha means in great pleasure, from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Prabhupada's purport. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. How many hours?
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day. They are engaged in glorifying the Lord's qualities and pastimes. And what happens to their hearts? Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna. And they take great pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. So one of the meditations for this month was to develop our loving relationship and deepening our loving relationship with Krishna personally. This was like a very intimate meditation between ourselves and Krishna. And the second one, as it's also mentioned here, we can only do that if we also deepen our relationships with the devotees. And Srila Rupa Goswami, he mentions these 6 loving exchanges as dadati, pratigrinnati, guyam, agyati, pritchati, bhunkte, bojayate, cheva, satvidam, priti, lakshanam. Priti lakshanam means loving exchanges. And 2 of them are specifically important, is mentioned as guyam, agyati, pritchati. Guyam, you will see this word guyam frequently in the Bhagavad Gita. It means secret, or it means confidential. So confidential, Guyam Agyati, means you open your heart confidentially and you speak from the heart about your realizations related to your practice of Krishna consciousness. And Prichati means you inquire, Guyam, confidentially. So what we're doing here today is actually confidentially sharing what is happening or what happened in our hearts during this month of Kartik, which is something very intimate. And it depends how confident you feel and how protected you feel in the assembly of the Vaishnavas to open your heart and reveal what is there and what happened with you in the last 30 days. So I will take the role of Prichati. I will inquire confidentially from the devotees, and you will take the role of Guyam Akyati. You will take the role of confidentially sharing what happened in your heart. So before we start, how many of you wrote a letter to Krishna and posted it on the altar? How many of you did that? Yes. Did you receive back that letter already? Okay, Hare Krsna, it's like overflowing already. So if you want to have it back to look what were your intentions at the beginning of Kartik, the box is here, and you can pick your letter if you can recognize what was your letter. And I would really like to invite all of you to, we just passed the mic, and whatever you want to share. You can share about deepening your relationship with Krishna and your intentions if you want, and how it became realized in the last 30 days. You can also focus on the 6 loving exchanges, the initiative that Vishwambar Prabhu had or created, by getting linked up with another devotee and then sharing your, loving realizations about that devotee, or giving a gift, or feeding him prasadam or her. So I don't know who would like to start sharing your realizations about Kartik. I know devotees are very humble. Who is humble enough to start? Who wants to be the first to share? Yes. Is the mic on? No. Can you help her with the mic? No, you please help her. It's the yellow. Yeah.
Test. Okay, I don't know so much about your celebration, but today I saw a beggar, and because I know a little about this Kartik, and I think it's about the light in our lives and in our hearts. And this beggar, he was not so. He was very humble. I asked him, why you don't come to Krishna, to the castle, and it's not so far from here. And then he say, I'm like a dragon, like a diable, a devil, because he was not purified to come to here. And then I say, but you're human, so you make also mistakes, or what else? Everyone does this, and it goes. It's important that you have to see the light. That you see the light, and he know a little bit from Krishna. And then he say, no, I don't come, I don't go. And I say, come, you're welcome at Krishna's place. Even you're a diable, a devil, so then you can, he can change things slowly. And that was my experience about I did this once, about the light, so.
You wanted to enlighten those you came across, to share the light.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
That's one of the purposes of Diwali and the Kartik month, is to share our
Okay.
bhakti with others. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So, my biggest realization was just before we started Kartik, because we were meditating on what to vow to Krishna, and I was thinking how many this and how many that and how, all these things that I would write down. And
Number focus.
And I asked Elena, so, what you're going to write, should we write a letter together? And she said, yeah, actually, she said she learned in the kids camp in the summer. She said they suggested that we can vow to be kind to the other devotees. And then it gave me such a realization. Here I am with my numbers, this and that. I'm trying to impress Krishna with numbers, which is exactly not what Krishna's impressed with. So then later we wrote our letter together. And so one of my friends, she said another devotee also vowed that, not to criticize devotees. And she said, he lasted only 10 minutes from the month. So my experience of the Kartik, my loving relationship with Krishna, is that he tested me till the max, and I didn't manage to do any of my... Okay, I did this, I made really low numbers somehow, and so I managed one of them, but with great difficulty. And there was sickness, there was stress, there was all these things that hampered my personal relationship with Krishna. And in one sense, it also brought me closer to him, because I realized I'm not in charge here. And whatever Krishna gives us, he knows it's good for us. But then the relief in the Damodar month was with the exchange of the devotees. It was so pleasurable, because I noticed, besides just, you can choose between 3 things, right? In one sense, 3 things. But when you meet with a devotee, you can do all 3 things in the same time. Because, once I was Madame Mohan Mohini, she came with warm bread to my house in the evening, and we had such a nice little getting together, and we had some chicory together and a good talk. So we were doing all those 3 things together. It was really nice, and all the others. I still have a few more to do, but...
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing.
I think it was a very difficult month for me. So it was a bit of a difficult month for me. I find it very difficult to make promises because I felt I wouldn't be able to hold them. So I just asked for Krishna to help me in different areas, and yes, he definitely showed me different ways how I could learn, and in many ways I felt that I failed, and at one point I was just feeling quite low, and I kind of saw Krishna as I was walking, and I thought, I'm just going completely the wrong direction. And then I felt like I was in the forest in Radhadesh, and then I saw that Krishna was walking a little distance away, and I thought, we're walking in the same direction. And then I looked around and I saw other Goswamis and other people that I look up to, and they were all going not on the same path, but in the same direction. I thought, well, at least I'm not going the opposite direction. Whatever I'm doing.
Was that in a dream, or what was it?
Yeah, it was sort of, I meditate every morning, and it was some random meditation. This came up, and I thought, okay, if I'm not, at least I'm not going the wrong way. So I think if that's one thing, I didn't go the opposite direction, and I'm grateful for that. So.
So I lost my voice quite a lot. This morning we had a little bit of a discussion, kind of spontaneous thing about these promises or these wishes that we want to have during this month. And we are all laughing because, first of all, we didn't remember what we wrote. And then somebody said, yeah, actually, I promised something I wanted to do that. I forgot it all. I mean, some few minutes after that, I was doing something, and then I completely broke whatever I promised. So we were kind of laughing how it is, Kali Yuga things are so difficult to follow, kind of strictly things. And then now I read my message, and then I just read what I wanted to have. And actually, I was thinking that I did everything, but not with my effort at all. It was just pure mercy. I didn't really try to, I didn't make any efforts like consciously or coming from me, but actually it was just mercy. So it was very nice, So then I wrote that I want to chant more. Somehow I chanted more rounds than 16. I wanted to have proper dealings with the devotees because I have a tendency to criticize very strongly or to speak strongly. So then, somehow that Krishna gave me some kind of merciful mood. I don't know what happened, but it was also very nice. And then I also wanted to read more with peaceful mind, kind of read like without getting absorbed. And then the last week, I got sick and I had so much time to read, and I could not talk, so it was very good. So, so it was very, it was a month of mercy, I just was thinking, just desire, and Krishna is so kind, he just wants the best, and I just have to go along with that and try to, as I say, being nice with the devotees. This is really the key, what I feel like Krishna is the most merciful, the most interested also on that side. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kripa Drishti Pritsyati. It's all mercy in this month.
Hare Krishna. I feel this month was challenging for more of us. I really felt it, and maybe that was one part of the mercy that I got to hear about that or experience it, the struggle of other devotees and friends. So I felt I was not alone. But actually, throughout the time, I felt how it's very sobering. And sobering in a good way, when you get some purification or some serious things going on around you, but it's good for you. So a lot of that was happening. And but at the same time, even though challenging things were happening, I felt that internally I was not disturbed. And I felt this was the mercy that actually I was asking for at the beginning of the month, and I just read it now. Forgot about it. Just before Kartik started, a very dear Vaishnavi reminded me that Kartik is all about Kartika Devi. That's the month of Srimati Radharani. So that first day, I decided to write a prayer to Srimati Radharani, which is not common. I usually don't do that. But I think that this prayer was heard, definitely. So I felt very protected internally throughout. And I think many devotees felt that. So I hope that we can continue in that spirit together. Thank you.
So yeah, I don't know what to talk about. Normally, so I am living in Liège, so I am frequently coming to Radhadesh, but this time I got an opportunity to stay during the Diwali week, and that was the time I could, talk to devotees and spend more time over here and learn from them, because it's always good. You observe them and you try to, learn from them, and also I try to engage in some activities and observing them, attending lectures, that helps. So it was really nice, and also there was one experience that you during the day you try to find out time, because with kids it's difficult, you chant whole rounds in the morning and it's difficult, but I found encouraging during this time that some devotees are planning to chant together in the morning. So it was a really nice idea, So I was trying to chant early morning, sometime 4:30, okay. Because with kids it's difficult when they are going to school, you have some other things to do. But it was challenging, but sometime I was able to manage it. So I will tell you one incident that, okay, after getting ready, I start chanting, but still, sometimes you feel okay like this, and then you start, you're still chanting. So I felt that I am chanting, and suddenly, I felt that you have the lamp in front of you, and you do like this. So suddenly it happened that I am closing my eyes and in chanting, suddenly lamp comes in front of me and I am doing like this. But when I opened my eyes, there was nothing. So it was like, oh, what is this? And yeah, it was really nice to be here during this time. And I see kids are also, more and more getting to know about how to, celebrate Kartik month, what is the importance. So that's very important for kids to know all this. And yeah, thank you very much to all of you for the association you are giving us. Thank you very much.
Very well. And Rita?
Yeah, I like very much that we had such wonderful speakers, and during this month, especially also the lectures of Bhagavad Dharma, I appreciate it very much. Really went in my heart, and I was also happy to hear that he has this website, or how you call it, YouTube channel, Consciousness Revolution. So anybody wants to see his lectures, etc., they can look on this Consciousness Revolution. And I had also a nice experience that I had offered lamps in the morning here, and I had in the afternoon still some rounds to chant. So I offered, because it was also the time that Bhakti Renee left the body, and we had this ceremony. So I offered 2 candles, one for her also. And then in the afternoon I still had some rounds, and we went to this church in Derby. And there I also offered two candles, also one for Renee. And then I went outside, it was sunny, and I sat on the bench to chant to finish my rounds. And then I looked up, and then there was the sun there, so bright I could hardly look. And in the water was exactly the same sun, so blinding. And I was thinking, wow, you offered 2 little candles to the Lord, and then look, he offers you 2 huge lights that we hardly can look. And like we take 1 step to Krishna, and then he's taking so many steps to us. So it really felt very nice and very close to Krishna. Thank you.
Wonderful. Ramananda Roy?
Some man has to speak also.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I was also sending a message to Ekachakaran Prabhu what a hit it is that we had all the speakers, wonderful lecturers, devotees, one after another, and how it's like lifting Radhadesh to me. I mean, I get very absorbed in it. I remember Urmila was here, and I got so absorbed in her lectures. And then I'm also working, so then I have to run and rush afterwards because I'm not in time. And then I come in March and, oh my God, I forgot my talkie and I forgot my telephone. So back home, and then it was a complete catastrophe because now I have this electric bike, I told you. So I do half the trip by the car and half the trip by electric bike. And by that I win 20 euros per day. Can you imagine? So then I said, oh, my 20 euros gone. I have to go, I have no time anymore. So then I come in the park and okay, you know, the thing I have to do is to bring people from the chasm, you know, the chasm to the bears. That's all I have to do, you know, like. But of course, you know, I've been giving guided tours here for many years, so I give a whole guided tour. And then a group of people come, and then I realize, my God, no, I don't phone my headphone also, you know, this is the day, you know, like really. So then what I do, if I don't have a headphone, I jump out of my shuttle, and I speak like that to the people, and I give a whole elaborated tour. And then when I came at the bears, you know, one after another, these people, they give me €5. No one ever get, you know, a tip, but my €20 were paid back, you know, so I felt, wow, that's really working, you know, Krishna is really reciprocating by getting so absorbed in these lectures. And also I felt the same like Tarunamrita Mataji was saying, Bhagavad Dharma, I felt like, wow, I really deeply heard the pastimes, you know, of Krishna, like we were hearing this morning, this, you know, she came with the fruit seller, and how I really was really deeply absorbed, and it really touched me also very much. And then that's a big thing for me, and I really feel this is like really a hit in Radhadesh that all the speakers come. And then of course the initiative by Nimai, by Vishwambar Prabhu, that we had to do these exchanges between each other. And one thing I realized that is it takes time to develop personal relationships, because, you know, we are doing quite an exercise here, you know, with so many different people, so many different backgrounds. You know, it's not so simple, you know, like, but it really makes a difference when we did that exercise. That was my experience. I don't know if I want to tell the whole personal story, but it was a deep thing, and it felt so wonderful, and I hope we can do that more regularly. It's difficult, you know, because we are also engaged, but thank you for all this. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to take the opportunity to thank the devotees who take time in this Radhadesh Sadhu Sangha Council to get together and to really meditate on how to uplift Radhadesh in a spiritual way, because there are hundreds and millions of activities going on in Radhadesh, but Srila Prabhupada, he wanted these communities to be ambassadors of, you know, of the spiritual world, where everything is dealing with glorifying the Lord. So I think it's so wonderful to see that one speaker after another, like Bhagavad Dharma Prabhu, we didn't even have to invite him. He invited himself. He said, "Can I come and give a lecture series?" Yeah, it's fine. So it's one after the other. Nobody in Radhadesh gets the opportunity to speak anymore, because we have so many speakers who come. And so yeah, I'm also very grateful for having so many wonderful speakers here in Radhadesh. It really lifts our consciousness big time. Yes, Prabhu? Around the corner, right here. You want to say something?
When I was distributing books, the period that I didn't like the most was Christmas time, because in Christmas time, you know, people were very selfish. Now we are celebrating here. We don't want your books. So I'm a little bit allergic sometimes in the period in which we should be better. So I think Srila Prabhupada says we should always push ourselves. No? We are like rockets. As soon as we stop pushing, automatically we go down. So now the month of Kartika is finished, so maybe, okay, we go back to our routine, and we we have had a nice experience for this month, but it's important to keep the fire burning. So in the sense that we have to, because in this month we do a marathon for ourselves. We try to go out of our comfort zone, we try to reach to others, even by giving a gift. And sometimes it's also difficult, no? Oh my God, I have to give a gift to this person, I never spoke to this person, but we have to, this is my perception, no? Maybe it's wrong, but we have to become more personal. Like Ramananda Roy Prabhu said, we have to become more personal among each other, and not in a formal way, but deeply personal, in the sense that really caring for others. And we have to keep this for the whole year. It's not just 1 month. Okay, now in this month I've been a good boy, a good girl, a good lady. Now I relax a little bit because it was very intense for me. We have to keep going. This is my humble suggestion, and thank you very much.
We will humbly accept your suggestion. Yes, thank you so much. It's like in the story of Ambarish Maharaj. He was so serious that he practiced Ekadasi for a whole year, right? Right? That's the story in the Bhagavatam. So we can practice Kartik the whole year and try to bind Krishna with ropes of love. And yes, Christian, you want to share?
Yes. I don't know how to say this, so I will certainly say the wrong words, so I'm sorry. Actually, I owe an apology to every one of you because I feel like a fraud, an hypocrite. Because I wrote on my sheet that all I wanted to do for this month is to follow at least for 1 month what I'm setting myself to do by being here, and I cannot even follow the basics. I'm talking about the regulative principle. I cannot even follow that, and I'm very full of shame and guilt, and I feel I don't know how to feel about this, and I don't know how to express it. So what I wrote on my sheet is to at least follow this for 1 month, but even that I failed to do, and it's even more painful as a brahmachari, because I'm supposed to be in a certain way. So yeah.
I think it's very courageous that you open your heart in front of Sri Radha Gopinatha and all the Vaishnavas. And I don't know if it will give some solace to you, but this morning I was reading in the Madhurya Kadambini from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur the different stages of Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. You have Bhajana Kriya, 2 stages, Anishtita and Nishta. And if you're in the unsteady devotional service, then there are 6 stages or symptoms, and one of them is Niyamaksha. And Niyamaksha means the inability to improve your devotional service. And the other one is called Visaya Sangar. And Visaya Sangar means the inability to give up sense gratification. But these are part of the Anishtita Bhajana Kriya process. So it's still part of Bhajana Kriya, but it's unsteady, where you try to improve devotional service and you fail, you try to give up or reduce sense gratification and you fail. But the regret that you feel, the lamentation that you feel is also purified. Especially in the beginning stages of your devotional career. It is good to regret. It's good to recognize and regret, rectify, and then reunite, right? What were the 4 stages? First you recognize that you did something wrong. Then you regret that you did it wrong. Then you rectify, and then you reunite. The 4 R's. So especially when you're open and honest about it, and you ask help from the Vaishnavas, then I think it's part of the process of devotional service. So thank you for sharing. Sri Radha Gopinath ki jai. Thank you, Mata Christian. Yes, Jayabhadra Mataji. Please.
Well, for me, I did make 3, I don't know if they were vows, but I said that I would really give this my best shot. And what I realized about, I wasn't completely successful, but it definitely put a roof on me, put a roof on my tendency to all over the universe. And also it helped me understand something about how vulnerable a conditioned soul is in this world. Somebody put on Facebook that the things that we hate in others, we have to recognize that we're vulnerable to them ourselves. And that helped me to see really something that we often hear, that you hate the sin and not the sinner. So we can't afford to hate any person, but we have to understand that we're all conditioned souls. And as we were saying, these loving exchanges are about how to support, how to encourage, and how to help us to move past those obstacles. And actually, the obstacles that are impeding us will be ultimately, these are will become at some point the source of our greatest strength. Especially when we learn how to overcome them, and then we'll know how to share with others how to overcome, it'll become a source of great strength. That's one realization I had. And wonderful things happened. I caught up with a god sister that I haven't, and we talked about these topics. And also I got to be part of Renee's departure, which was wonderful. And then as far as the loving exchange is concerned, I got to have some loving exchanges that were unexpectedly wonderful. So I must say that this is the best kartik I've ever had, and that's in 50 years. It's the best kartik ever. Hare Krsna.
You also? Yes?
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This kartik was really nice for me. I have didn't imagine that it's gonna be in this way. Actually, I'm not so well. I was sick and just staying in I'm from Germany. I live in Germany right now, and just talking. I was looking for ISKCON temple, but they are pretty far where I live. Suddenly, one of my friends called me and said he is going to go Radhadesh. And he just said to me, but I Google, and next day I called Mantrini, and in 2 days I was in Radhadesh. I didn't even thought, how come, all of a sudden I managed to come here, and it's wonderful experience. It's wonderful. I apologize when I was in India, or being as an Indian, when we see any non-Indian people actually worshipping Krishna. So it comes in my mind that they are mostly attracted by superficial attraction of the Hindu religion or maybe Krishna. And I was a bit afraid of going to ISKCON temple because I feel they are not so authentic. I apologize, because after coming here, I realized every person, every kid, every man, women has a so intensive and deep knowledge about Bhagavad Gita, about even the shlokas, That's blown my head actually. I was literally impressed how deeply you are connected. So it was amazing for me. My mother used to celebrate Kartik. Being as a kid, we never given, we were never interested, or we were mostly in Diwali or whatever she's gonna prepare, maybe today for the food. We are more into that, but worshipping part, we never did it. So this is the first time that I get a real sense what Kartik is, what we have to do, the Deepak actually. Lamps are very important, and Tulsi marriage, my mother do many times actually. We just assemble and support her, but we don't want to know the real message behind this. So then today we are going to have a Tulsi Puja. This is amazing for me. I completely lost the world from where I come from. I'm totally indulged with the people. People are so nice here. I do get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is very difficult. Become very easy nowadays because of the practice, and I chant in the morning, and I try myself to engage more and more activities and doing some seva. It's amazing actually. I just want to say the whole community, thank you so much that you are still keeping it alive, and it's amazing because for me it's like coming home and starting something new, and I'm learning a lot from you people. So it's really amazing, and yeah, thank you everyone. Hari Bol.
Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Anybody?
It said Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha. What you're saying is also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the root cause of successful practice of bhakti is the association with other devotees.
True.
If you are alone, you will never have
you're
this
lost.
strength.
Yeah.
So Krishna Bhakti Janma, you know, it's the birth of Krishna Bhakti. Hoya Sadhu Sangha, by the
good association of the good people around you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really felt it.
Yes. Prahlad Bhaktapur, would you like to share something about Kartik? What were your experiences?
I didn't write a letter because and we're back home in Ireland. It came in almost unnoticed. Leela gets up every morning and does the whole Kartik, and she got me to do it a few times. But what was significant for me this time was to be in the manor and for Prabhupada's disappearance day, and to see some of the people that I grew up with, how we've matured, how we've sort of become almost too mature, stumbling around. And I think the appreciation was that somehow that community that we started with in our early 20s or 19s or whatever it was, there's still people there surviving, and they're such wonderful, wonderful people to grow as a devotee, to be a devotee. It's such an incredible honor to be in the association of devotees, and in this association here, and I hope you all grow to old age together, basically, and you end your lives in each other's arms. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Benny, you would like to share? You don't want to share? Bodhayanta Parashparam?
I found it very given by different ways to deepen the relationship with devotees. So the lectures, and then the idea of Vishwambar Prabhu, the combination of it, and then writing a letter, the variation make it more profoundly, and to continue also. Thank you very much.
Jai. Leela Shakti Mataji, would you like to share some words?
Yeah, I was fearing that.
I'm sorry, I'm a cruel guy.
Well, first of all, I would actually like to just thank you for that beautiful feedback you gave to that young man. It's one of the most wonderful mentoring I never ever experienced from an older devotee to a younger devotee. It was so wonderful. I completely took it to heart. Thank you. And secondly, I was thinking, since I came to Radhadesh, has been a little bit trying. So I haven't been part of the writing or associating very much. I've mainly concentrated on just staying on my legs. But back in Ireland, I just love the magic of Kartik. And I really get into, it's funny, every time it's Kartik, I always feel sad that Mother Yashoda is not being praised a little bit more. We offer obeisances to the wonderful rope that binds Krishna's belly and to Radharani, but where's Mother Yashoda? She needs it too. I find it so wonderful that she is just sitting there and trying to bind him. And this whole relationship gets me every single time. And I find it so attractive. And it sounds a little bit sort of pseudo maybe, but I can really relate to it as a mum. And I know that comes from a material point of view in many ways, but relationships, you ask to Krishna, she kisses his face again and again, and the lips that are red like the bimba fruit. The whole poem, I love saying it every single day. So that to me it is an absolute magic time. And I must admit, although I totally appreciate the wisdom and the must of association with devotees, there is also something very beautiful and intimate in sitting there in the darkness. I have darkness, and then I have just tea lights. And it's just so magic to sit there in front of the altar. Can you imagine that? It's beautiful. And I relish it actually. As much I also relish coming here in the morning, but I always get mental. I can't get up and down, and I walk on my sari or my skirt and fall over. I have a lot of anxiety actually getting from here to there and back again. That's the part of being old. So I must admit, for me, Kartik really was in Ireland this time.
Haribol. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Miriam.
So since Govardhan Puja, I realized how much of a fool and rascal I am, and so this is good, I guess. But I want to ask for forgiveness to anybody I offended, and probably will offend again. So please excuse me.
Thank you for sharing. Mantrini?
Yeah, we did several Be a Monk challenges, but I think this last challenge was really special also because the participants who came to do the Be a Monk challenge, they were really immersed into this Kartik energy, and somehow they came for 4 days, and they all went to Mangalarti in 4 days in a row, and it was the group was really strong, and they got really affected. I saw a very big change in them, and Lajwanti is also one of the participants. She just wanted to stay with us. Maybe she will not go home anymore. But no, it was really nice to see. And this group even made a 5 minutes video the last day, and they put all the pictures together. They had Gopinatha, and they had like such a good time, and it was really special to see. So it's nice to do these things. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Anyone else would like to share? Suryakanya? Very eager to hear from you.
This Kartik was like a whirlwind. How say it? Wind?
Whirlwind.
Yeah, a lot of wind. A lot of storm. It was a whole storm. Started with, actually before already my husband lost work. he lost his work, so he's independent. So we didn't know what to do, and so he had like the the normal material things, to go to do solicitations. And it was really okay. At his birthday, he was going to that solicitation, and then actually he got a job. So that is one of the things. Before that, a few days before, I think a week before Kartik, Renee came here, and her friend was also here, and it was there that she told me that she is going to leave her body soon. And she said, I want to have more friends. That the friend, Frederica said she want to have more friends here, because she always came with Renee here. And they did walks together and all these kind of things. And we didn't know that it would go so quick. And we kept contact, Frederica and me. She phoned me, I phoned her. I actually had yesterday also talked with her. And also on the funeral herself, she said that she was walking around, and she took shelter of devotees, because she was just going to sit with devotees. She felt really she had to go there, and they were sitting together. And that was one of the part. The amazing part was that she really wanted to be there when Renee was leaving her body. And the fact is, she left her body in Kartik, and Renee, just before that, she felt that she had to take a bath. And so Mother Yabhadra had given Ganga water and 1008 holy waters from 1996. And that they put in the water. And so she was taking that bath. She said, I want to go clean to Krishna, she said. And then that same evening, a few hours later, her two sons were there. Huh? Oh, half an hour later. Half an hour late, after the bath,
They were chanting Hare Krishna.
they were holding their hands, just the boys.
Prabhupada was chanting. They were chanting.
And Prabhupada was chanting. And she went. And next morning, I don't know if I should tell this, it sounds crazy, but I was going around, I was really sad, and I was going around the temple, and I a few times around the temple, I think 6 times, and I chanted 8 rounds. And I was walking there in front, and I was looking to Radha Gopinatha, and I felt really that suddenly something was there, some energy. I cannot say, I was saying, Renee, just go to Krishna. And then I came back. It was not 6:15, it was 5:45. So I don't know what happened, For me, it was like some magic happened. I don't know, the time was standing still or something. Anyway, that's sort of...
Vishwa, you want to share something? It's almost...
For sure, I know that she went back to Krishna and Radharani. And what you are worshipping now, her Radha Krishna deities?
I have her Radha Krishna deed. I'm taking responsibility for them. I'm not worshipping them because I'm not up to standard, but I will make sure they get home.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. Shri Shri Radha Gopinatha ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai. So I would love to hear more, but I think it's also appropriate to joyfully, jubilantly glorify Shri Shri Gauranitai. So please let's have Kirtan, and then at 7:30 we will hear from Gopinatha Acharya Prabhu about the glories of Tulsi Maharani and Saligram Sila and their marriage. Srila Prabhupada ki. Purushottam Prabhu, you would like to sing?
Keepan Jaya Jaya Gaurachande Arati Kusho Gosarigaya. Sanjaya Mukunda Vaso Gosarigaya. Chanda baje ghanta baje karatala. Madhura miranga baje Paramarasala. Shanka baje ganta baje Madhura baje Shanka baje Shanka baje ganta baje Madhura baje Madhura baje Madhura baje Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Babu Koti Chandra Jine Vadana Uchala. Babu Koti Chandra Jine Vadana Uchala. Gala Deshe Vanamala Kore Chalamala. Gala Deshe Vanamala Kore Jalamala. Shiva Sukha Narada Reme Gada Gada. Shiva Sukha Narada Reme Gada Gada. Radhadesh Acharya. Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Gopinatha Acharya, Sloka Satyasi Srimat, His Divine Grace, J.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrata Acharya, Astotra Satyasi Srimat, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki. Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Lalita Vishakha Devi ki. Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. Sri Sri Goinitai ki. Sri Kartik Vrata ki. Sri Radha Damodar ki. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Ladadayine. Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha Silatankanakalaye Ito nisinga parato nisinga Yato yato yamitato nisinga Bahir nisingo Hridaye nisingo Bahir nisingo Hridaye nisingo Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapaje Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapaje Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Aguta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Danubringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisa Hare Jai Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Polo Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nisingadev, Nisingadev, Jai Nisingadev, Jai Nisingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Vikna Vinashana Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Sri Prahlad Maharaj ki, Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. So we will now hear from His Grace Gopinatha Acharya Prabhu and the glories of Srimati Tulsi Maharani. And then around 8 o'clock we will have Tulsi Arti, Tulsi Saligram Arti, followed by Kirtan and then Prasadam. Hare Krsna.
Omagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. In Oxford, where I live, we have a tradition for the final day of Kartik, and perhaps you've done this already earlier. I missed the earlier part of the program. Vishwanakarishi Prabhu always insists that on the final day of Kartik we should chant the names of Tulsi. And so I thought we can start with that. I don't know if you have done this already earlier today or whether this is still planned later on.
We will have Tulsi Arti, we'll sing Tulsi Bhajan.
Okay.
After the
The Tulsi has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names that are said to be particularly dear to her. That are particularly dear to her. So I thought we could chant those together. So I'll say them and then you can repeat after me. So the first name, and I'll say a bit about each name as well. So the first name is Vrinda, and we'll hear a bit more about that name. So I won't say very much about that. The second name is Vrindavani. She's the presiding deity of Vrindavan. Then she's known as Vishvapavani, the purifier of the whole universe. In Nectar of Devotion, we hear that if you touch Tulsi Devi, if you smell Tulsi Devi, if you see Tulsi Devi, if you remember Tulsi Devi, if you pray to Tulsi Devi, if you bow down to Tulsi Devi, any of those things, if you do any of those things, everything becomes auspicious in your life. And Prabhupada comments in the Nectar of Devotion, he says, from this we can see how important she is and how powerful she is. So she's Vishvapavani, the purifier of the entire universe. And because she's the purifier of the entire universe, she's also known as Vishvapujita, she who is worshipped by the entire universe. And we'll say a little bit about that later on. Then she's known as Pushpasara, the essence of all flowers, the best of all the flowers. This is the flower that Krishna likes most. And you might think, well, manjaris, tulsi manjaris, they're not quite so nice as a rose perhaps, or a lotus, but Krishna likes them better. And therefore she's Pushpasara, the essence or the best of all flowers. She's Nandini, she who offers delight. She offers delight to Krishna, but she also offers delight to all the devotees of Krishna. She's Tulasi, she who is matchless, she who has no equal. And finally, she's Krishna Jivani, she who gives life to Krishna. And we'll say a little bit more about that later as well. So those are the 8 names. So perhaps now we can chant them. So I'll say one and then you repeat, and I'll say the second and then you can repeat. So Vrinda, Vrindavani, Vishvapavani, Vishvapujita, Pushpasara, Nandini, Tulasi, Krishna Jivani, Vrinda, Vrindavani, Vishvapavani, Vishvapujita, Pushpasara, Nandini, Tulasi, Krishna Jivani, Vrindavani, Vishvapavani, Vishvapujita, Pushpasara, Nandini, Tulasi, Krishna Jivani. Last night, Ekachakra Prabhu appeared and asked me to speak about the glories of Tulasi Devi. So if the manager of the entire community here comes and asks you personally to speak about the manager of Krishna's affairs, how can you refuse? But one of the remarkable things about Tulasi, when I think about Tulasi, there's one particular verse from the Bhagavatam that comes to mind. And it's a verse from the 3rd canto that describes how the 4 child sages, the 4 Kumaras as we know them, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana and Sanat Kumara, ended up in Vaikuntha somehow or other, even though, as we will hear in the verse, they were Akshara Jusham, they were devoted to the impersonal aspect of the Lord, but somehow they ended up at the gates of Vaikuntha. And something happens there that we don't have to get into now. There's a bit of an argument that ensues, there's a bit of pride involved, there's a bit of disrespect perhaps involved, and exactly who's disrespected and all that we don't have to get into. But what happens is that even though the Lord is usually within the palace in the city of Vaikuntha, he comes outside, he comes to the gate to see what's happening. And when the Lord appears there, something extraordinary happens, and this is the verse we have here. Tasyaravinda nayanasya padaravinda kinjalka mishra tulasi makaranda vayu antargatasva vivarena chakarate sham Sanshobhya makshara jusham apichitta tanvo. Prabhupada translates this as, when the breeze carrying the aroma of tulasi leaves from the toes to the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. And so here we sometimes hear that they smell, or we sometimes think of it that they smell the lotus feet of the Lord. But actually, Shukadeva Goswami is here saying, no, they smell the tulasi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. And we see that smell that sort of comes their way, that it enters their nostrils. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that one might, the four Kumaras might say, well, we didn't want this. We didn't want this to happen. We didn't want this fragrance to enter our nostrils. But he says the nature of the nostrils is such that there are gates into our body, and so we have no control over them. We have control over our eyes a little bit. We can close our eyes and we don't see. We don't have controls over our nostrils. We smell whatever smell comes our way. And so tulasi enters into their nostrils, and when they smell the tulasi that's offered to the Lord, the verse says, Antargatas svavivarena chakaratesham shankshobhyam aksharajusham apichittatanvo. That their chitta, their mind, and their bodies, sankshoba, is Prabhupada thinks is their agitation for change. They become disturbed. Their minds and their body become disturbed. Their body becomes disturbed because they begin to show ecstatic symptoms. They're sages who are fixed akshara jusham in the impersonal realization of the Lord, which is characterized by peace and stillness and control. But now when the fragrance of tulasi enters into them, they can't control themselves anymore. They lose control over their bodies. They begin to cry, they begin to shiver, they begin to exhibit all these ecstatic symptoms. And their minds become disturbed too. The minds of the sages who realize the impersonal aspect of the Lord is like the external appearance, peaceful and calm, but now is agitated with love for the Lord who appears there. But what I find remarkable is that it's Tulasi who does this. It's of course they smell the lotus feet of the Lord as well, as the commentators explain. But it's particularly Tulasi who allows this to take place. And that's very characteristic of Tulsi Devi, that she is the intermediary between us and the Lord. She engages in the service of the Lord. She brings us closer to the Lord. In the morning when we do Tulsi Puja, as we will later do Tulsi Puja, what do we ask of Tulsi? Seva Adhikara. That please give us the Adhikara, the eligibility to serve the Lord. Please make us ready and capable of serving the Lord. Just as the four Kumaras had not attained the eligibility of serving the Lord. They had not realized the personal aspect of the Lord, so therefore how could they serve the Lord in that capacity? But Tulsi Devi enters their minds and their bodies, transforms them, and suddenly they can become servants of the Lord. And we hear in other places of the Bhagavatam beautiful teachings of the Kumaras, and we see how transformed they are by that experience. And I particularly like this instance of the Kumaras and Tulsi Devi's intervention here, because it shows that everyone is in need of her blessings, and everyone is in need of receiving the adhikara for seva from her. Even people who are so spiritually advanced as the four Kumaras, that they've attained the realization of the Lord, that they're Atmaramas, they're satisfied in the self. They have no desires for anything in this world. They're just fully fixed in the nature of the Lord. They just have not received the opportunity to serve the Lord yet. So if they need it, then what to speak of those of us who are struggling in this world and have been struggling life after life and are not so equipoised and so unaffected by the material world as the Kumaras were. If the Kumaras who can reach the gates of Vaikuntha need the blessing of Tulsi Devi, then we need her blessings as well. And this is of course something that we see every day. We do. We have various ways in which Tulsi Devi manifests in our life and allows us to serve the Lord. We chant the names of the Lord with Tulsi. We chant the name of the Lord on Tulsi beads, allowing us to enter into that service to the Lord. And when we make an offering to the Lord, ideally, we offer it with a Tulsi leaf. And it's the Tulsi leaf that perfects the offering. And in the West, this is a little more difficult to do than in India. In India, Tulsi is everywhere. And there's Tulsi in abundance, so it's much easier to do. If you're living outside of a temple in particular, it's sometimes harder to do this every day. But we see that when we offer ideally with a Tulsi leaf, the offering is perfected. Tulsi Devi perfects that offering. And Tulsi Devi makes this pleasing to the Lord and allows the Lord to accept this. And that's quite extraordinary if you think about this. For one individual, for one person, even if she's a goddess, she's still a person. For one individual to enable the service of so many to the Lord, that's quite extraordinary. If you think about, I'm offering my little Tulsi, I'm chanting my mantras on Tulsi, but so are countless other devotees doing this, and Tulsi is enabling all of that. And this is the great character of her, that she's selfless. She brings others to Krishna. This is what she wants to do. She's already there at the lotus feet of Krishna, as we saw with the four Kumaras, but she wants to bring others there as well. She's not content to say, oh, I've attained to Lord, this is good enough. She sees the others and wants to bring them to her, and therefore she's Vishvapavani. She purifies everyone and allows them to come closer. And we see this too in her other identity. So the first name that we chanted is Vrinda, Vrinda Devi. And Vrinda Devi is the form of Tulasi Devi as she appears in the Leela of Krishna in Vrindavan. Indeed, Vrindavan itself is named after her. This is the Vana, the forest of Vrinda Devi. And because she's the presiding deity of Vrindavan. This is her place. And Vrindavan, in some ways, is one of the many forests. We have different vanas, different forests that are there in Braj. But as we know, devotees often say, I'm going to Vrindavan, and they might go to Govardhan instead. And technically Govardhan is, not Vrindavan town itself. But still, the glories of Vrinda Devi are so great that that the whole place of Braj comes to be named after her and comes to be seen as Vrindavan, as her place. Because she's the presiding deity, and therefore, as I'll say a little bit more about tomorrow, we see that the central temple of Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami established a temple of Govinda and had two other shrines next to it, and one was for Vrinda Devi, because she's the presiding deity, and therefore she should be worshipped centrally in Vrindavan. But as the presiding deity, she's quite interesting in her role in Krishna's Leela. We hear Raghunath Das Goswami, if I remember correctly, says that Radharani became the queen of Vrindavan. She was crowned queen of Vrindavan, but she appointed her first minister is Vrinda Devi. And Vrinda Devi's task is she's basically the manager of Vrindavan. She's the stage manager for Krishna's divine play. And so she orchestrates everything for the Lord there. And she's a very good manager. And if you're a very good manager, it means you have a lot of assistants. You don't do. A bad manager wants to do everything themselves. Good managers know how to delegate. And so she has tons of assistants. And who are her assistants? They're all the plants and the animals of Vrindavan. Because as the Goswamis repeatedly remind us, she's a goddess of the forest as well. She's a Vana Devata. She's a forest deity, forest deity. And so she controls Vrindavan by engaging all the plants and all the animals, the parrots, the various birds, the deer, and so on, all in the service of Krishna. And she does this in various ways. Her main role is to bring Radha and Krishna together and to ensure that they can be together and that others don't come in between them. And so Radharani's in-laws, she keeps them away in various ways. In the morning when Radha and Krishna awake, Vrinda Devi sends birds to wake them and to say, quick, go home before the others realize that Radharani is not at home. But also the Goswamis explain she does something very important for Krishna specifically, and that is when Krishna is out tending the cows and playing with the cowherd friends, she sends various animals and various flowers to remind Krishna of Radharani. And so she sends a deer, and then Krishna sees the deer and thinks, Radharani has eyes like a deer. and then she brings lotuses, and then Krishna thinks, her feet are like lotuses. And in this way she continuously brings remembrance of Srimati Radharani to Krishna. And this is why she's Krishna Jivani. She brings life to Krishna. She awakens the remembrance of the most dear thing to Krishna. But usually when you're a stage manager for a play, if you you have the director who kind of organizes, who sort of directs the actors, and then you have the manager who kind of ensures that all the props are there and the costumes are ready and so on, and make sure that everything goes nicely. Usually the stage manager is in control of things, knows exactly what's going to happen. But the great wonder of Krishna's Leela is that even though Vrindadevi is orchestrating everything, and even though Vrindadevi is managing everything, she never knows what's going to happen. And so she has to improvise constantly. Because Krishna is unpredictable, Krishna's devotees are unpredictable, and the Leela moves as it moves. And so Vrindadevi constantly has to intervene and change her plans. She has no plans. Her only plan is to please Krishna. And so just she does this repeatedly. Krishna suddenly decides to go to this part of the forest, then this part of the forest needs to be ready for Krishna. If he suddenly decides to go there, then that has to be ready. And in this way, she herself experiences that great bliss of engaging in the service of Krishna, of seeing Krishna happy by engaging everyone in her service. And that's, of course, a great lesson for us as well. In our spiritual life, we sometimes think, here's what's going to happen. I do this, I do this, I do this, and this is exactly how it's going to go. But then Krishna surprises us and throws things our way. And if we're attached to our own little plans, then we get lost in this, and we get confused, and we start to question, why is this happening? Why is that happening? This is not what I expected, or this is not what I thought I was promised. And so we can take a lesson from Vrindadevi and just delight in this. And this is the wonder of Krishna, that he is surprising, and he does what he wants. Srila Rupa Goswami in the Radha Krishna Radhadesh Deepika, he lists all the attendants of all the friends and the servants of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And Vrindadevi there he places in the category of Krishna's friends. She's listed there, and so she belongs to Krishna. And we see this in that we offer tulsi leaves only to Krishna. We don't offer tulsi leaves to Srimati Radharani. But of course her service is not to Krishna alone. Her service is really to Radha and Krishna, and to bring them together, and this is what she wants. She's not interested in enjoying Krishna on her own. She's interested in enjoying in seeing the divine couple together. And so there's again that selflessness that we see in Tulsi Devi as well, manifest in her identity as Vrindadevi as well. And that's the second lesson I think we can learn from Tulsi Devi, is that selflessness and that intention of putting others first and helping others to serve Krishna. If we go through our spiritual life and think, here's me, I'm serving the Lord, and this is nice, and I enjoy this, and I don't really care about anyone else. They're a bit difficult sometimes, or perhaps we just don't see them. We just become blind to them, and because we're just fixed on this. If we do this, the Bhagavatam has some very harsh words for us. We're prakrita bhaktas, we're materialistic devotees. We're actually great offenders. We hear Kapila Deva say, if we worship the Lord but do not honor his devotees and all living beings, then we're actually offending the Lord. And so this is what Tulsi Devi and Vrinda Devi teach us, that we worship the Lord, but we worship the Lord together. We worship the Lord with other devotees. And the interest is not in our own enjoyment of the Lord or our own attachment to the Lord, but is actually in seeing the Lord pleased by the combined devotion of everyone there. Vrinda Devi doesn't work alone. She has a whole army of people that help her, not just the animals and the plants, but also the gopis and the other inhabitants of Vrindavan also assist her in various ways in this. And this is what gives Krishna the greatest joy, seeing this sort of cooperation of bringing everyone together. When we sing the Tulsi Arti, then what do we say? Koro nijadasi, make me your servant. Now the servant, a good servant, is a servant who understands the mood of the master. And if we understand the mood of the master, it means we try and act in accordance with that. And so when we ask Tulsi Devi that please make me your servant, it means we ask her, please allow me to be like you and assist you in serving the Lord in exactly the way that you're serving the Lord, with that same mood, with that same intention, because this is how all my desires will be fulfilled. So those are a few thoughts on Tulsi Devi, and yeah, I'll end there. I don't know if there are any comments or if anyone here. I know some of you are great devotees of Tulsi Devi and take care of Tulsi in various ways in your own homes and for Radha Gopinath. So if you have any realizations to add, please do so.
I wondered if you would say something about the relationship between Tulsi Devi and Yogamaya.
Yes, this is the other. So Srila Rupa Goswami establishes the temple of Govinda Dev in Vrindavan. I'll say a bit more about that tomorrow. And I said there's two other shrines, two other deities that he installs there. So he installs Govinda Dev as the presiding deity of Vrindavan. And then he has Tulsi Devi, or Brinda Devi, as the presiding deity of Vrindavan as well. And then the other deity that he installs is Yogamaya. And Yogamaya is particularly important because she has in some ways the same task, or she assists, or she plays a similar role in Krishna's Leela as Brinda Devi does, in that her task is also to bring the divine couple together, to bring Krishna and Radharani together in various ways. Brinda Devi does this through the natural world of Vrindavan. Yogamaya does this by bewildering people, and particularly by bewildering Abhimanyu, Radharani's husband, and Jatila and Kotila, the in-laws of Srimati Radharani, by leading them astray in various ways, so that the couple can be together. And so she has that role that she plays there. So we see they're quite similar in their intent.
I was also thinking she's bewildering the devotees because the devotees don't see Krishna.
Yeah, that too. She.
I just remembered that while you were saying.
Yeah, and sometimes she bewilders Krishna too. We hear.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Good.
You want to speak a few words about the Vivana?
So today we celebrate the wedding of Tulsi Devi to Krishna in the form of the Shadagram, the stone form of the Lord, the rock form of the Lord. There's a long story that's associated with that, and we won't have time to get into. But it's a particularly glorious occasion to show that she belongs to Krishna alone, and that she is truly Krishna's, and therefore we enact the wedding of the two. I don't want to go too much over time, so I might leave it at that. Yeah. Good.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Gopinatha Acharya, Prabhu ki
Jai.
Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki
Jai.
Savidam Sila ki
Jai.
Hare Krsna. So, dear devotees, we will have, quite uniquely, we have the Tulsi Arti in the evening, which is very special for those who are not early birds. After when we have done the Tulsi Puja and we start Kirtan, then we can bring the table, and then whatever devotees made, and the cake can be put here, and then we will put a coffer. Okay. If you want it, it's good. So for those who are not early birds and for whom 5 o'clock in the morning is too early, this is your chance to worship Srimati Tulsi Maharani, and quite uniquely